Thanks, Karen. My name's Leslie, and we're going to talk about customer service and kick off your event, and I'm just really, really happy to be here. Kind of feels like I'm forgetting something, though. Oh, I know what it is. I'm forgetting to make a good first impression. Can you give me 1 second, please? This dress is completely wrong for me. Okay, there we go. Better, right? The shoes are all wrong for this outfit, so let's change that up. And let's just start over. Good morning. You know you have one chance to make a good first impression, right? And that first impression happens within the first 5 to 10 seconds of meeting someone. The clothing you wear, the way you stand, even the thoughts that you think have an impact on your quality of life. It impacts the way people treat you. It impacts the people you attract into your life. It impacts the opportunities you attract into your life. It even impacts the wealth that you attract into your life. Everything about you communicates a message, and that's just some of what we're going to talk about today. Having a powerful, confident, vibrant persona and the impression, sometimes that helps to elevate yourself and to elevate those around you. But what I have discovered is one of the main things that gets in the way of us being powerful and confident and vibrant is our fears and insecurities. Now raise your hand if you have one or two fears and insecurities that pop up every once in a while that get in the way of success, right? And if you're not raising your hand, it's probably out of fear and insecurity, so, right? And I do too. And when I share that with people, sometimes they say, you have insecurities? You seem so confident and put together. Well, then I share with them that I've learned some tools and techniques that help me to manage those fears and insecurities. Because I look at that like tending a garden. Right? If you want to have a beautiful garden, if you want to have a great life, there's some effort involved, right? And you have to build that. And then once we build it and get it there, we need to do something to maintain that, right? Like what happens if you have a beautiful garden and you stop paying attention to it? What happens, right? Yeah, it dies, or the weeds start coming back in, right? So I look at fears and insecurities as like the weeds. They're always lurking there, just waiting to run in if I'm not paying attention and managing that. So I'm going to share with you some of those things today, things I've learned along the way that help me to manage my fears and insecurities that leads to more success and joy and happiness, both personally and professionally. But before we get there, I want to share with you or take you back to a time in my life where fear and insecurity was in control of me instead of the other way around. So here I am in 7th grade, bad skin, bad teeth, very questionable hair. I did at least have that cool beaded necklace on there, so I had that going for me. But I was just nothing but insecurities, zero self-confidence. Here I'm in 8th grade. Now the hair got a little bit better for that time, but still with the bad skin and the bad teeth, once again had a cool necklace on, so I had that going for me. Now here I'm in 9th grade, and I just quit smiling altogether. Partly because of the bad teeth, but more so because I was just angry and confused. See, my parents divorced when I was young, and this created a lot of chaos in my life. We ended up moving around a lot. I was always that new kid that got picked on. And one of my coping skills was getting in fistfights. And I want to just add a little sidebar to say to you that what you do, the business that you're in, I don't know if you realize the impact that you can have on people's lives by providing a safe and secure home to be in. But when we moved around a lot, that was part of that chaos and that insecurity growing up, and there was one place along the way that felt like a safe home. And it was an apartment where the person managing really treated us nicely, and it was that little harbor in a stormy life. So just keep that in mind with what you do. What you do really does have an impact on people's lives. So there I was, angry, confused, tough chick, getting in fist fights. I didn't have any special talents, singing or dancing. I wasn't a brilliant student. I felt like people didn't like me. So I wasn't really being teed up for a successful life, and really just a lot of insecurities. My greatest claim to fame by this point in my life was that in 4th grade I had beat up a 6th grade boy. So, put that on your resume, right? So here I am a couple years later in high school. I also struggled with my weight. Now, when I look back on pictures during that time, I wasn't as overweight as I felt at that time, but it was something I did get teased about. And the worst of it was when a boy that I liked called me Thunder Thighs. So that was special, right? And that stuck with me. That impacted my self-image. I had this view of myself as the chubby loser girl that nobody liked. And that's just what I believed about myself. I also struggled with a sense of style. So here I am, 19 years old, wearing a brown velvet blazer and a big old bow blouse. Now, I don't care what era it is. No 19-year-old girl should be dressing this way. And you know, the way I started out here, the way you dress impacts the way people see you, right? So I appeared like I didn't have any confidence because I really didn't. Now, one of the bright spots in my life was my dad. He was an amazing man, and when I got to be around him, it always lit me up and made me feel really good. He did teach me about the power of a positive attitude. And I just idolized my dad. He was a banker. He was a loan officer. He had a mortgage company, and that inspired me to get into banking later. But here he is with me on my high school graduation day. That was a happy day. Now here I am a couple years later, back to being angry and confused. Because see, what happened is just 3 days before my 22nd birthday, my dad passed away suddenly of a heart attack. And this really shattered my life. I went into a dark place. I did not have good coping skills. Now, at that time when he passed away, I was a newlywed. I was in college, and I had just gotten my first, I call it my first big girl's job in banking. I worked as a customer service rep for what is now Wells Fargo. And so because of his passing, I really had a very difficult time coping with that. I dropped out of college. I almost got a divorce. I was not doing well professionally. I was always showing up late and getting reprimanded, and things were not going well. I was making bad choices that hurt people that were important to me. My life started to spin out of control. And a couple things happened that kind of picked me up and made me want to do better. One of the things that helped me at that time was my manager. The manager at the branch where I worked, whose name is Barb Bailey. And to this day, Barb Bailey remains my favorite manager that I've ever had. I've had some good ones, but she was one of the best. And she saw something in me, and instead of reprimanding me, she would encourage me and work with me to become a better person. And I just want to say that, again, the business that you're in, you have this opportunity to impact people's lives in a way that I don't even think you realize. You are in a leadership position. When you're dealing with people in their homes, it's something that's very personal. So I, to this day, really am grateful for what she did for me. I don't even think she knows how much she impacted my life. One of the things that she did was that she encouraged me to join Toastmasters. How many of you are familiar with Toastmasters? Mm-hmm. It's a phenomenal organization. It's a worldwide organization that helps people to develop their communication and leadership skills. So I went to Toastmasters and I loved it. Loved it. I found out I had a talent other than fist fighting to get me through life. And so, and it's probably why I'm standing here today right now, because I enjoyed that so much. It gave me something to work on and a way to also impact other people's lives. She also encouraged me to attend classes and seminars and do things to develop myself as a person. And I think that's really where that started, that idea of lifelong learning. It's why I do what I do. And in fact, it's fantastic that you have this opportunity over these next 3 days to learn and to grow and become better. So thanks to Barb Bailey, I started making better choices, and I decided I wanted to study what does it take to be a successful person. What can I do to elevate myself, right? And in elevating myself, elevate those around me. So I said, I want to find out who's successful, and I want to figure out what they're doing, and I'm going to copy that. And things started to improve. Look at that, my hair improved, right? I was rocking that 80s hairstyle back then. My posture improved. My sense of style improved. Things started getting better. More importantly, my marriage improved. My husband and I just celebrated 36 years of marriage last month. Thank you. My professional opportunities improved. I started moving up in the bank. Our financial picture improved. When we got married, we were dirt poor. And we both came from backgrounds where we didn't have a healthy mindset around money. So we learned what does it take to have that. And we started practicing those things, and now we enjoy complete financial freedom. That's a nice place to be. And it didn't happen by accident or by luck. It was by design, by having a plan and following some simple rules.